Imagine if our entire planet were enveloped in permafrost, snow, and ice. Would mankind be able to survive this horror? Let's speculate. The majestic Earth, once warm and lively, has become an icy prison. Silver streams of ice have engulfed the oceans, and the winds have brought a cold that is intertwined with absolute silence. It is not just winter, it is a cold darkness that has encased every stone, every tree, and every heart. The era of permafrost has arrived. At first, as glaciers and snow curtains began to engulf the continents, the world simply lost its green cover. Ancient forests, once vibrant and teeming with diversity, became wrecks of gray trunks covered in a dense layer of frost. The oceans, normally full of life, became dark and icy, and the coastlines were replaced by raging waves and shorelines shackled in perpetual cold. Animals began to take on a new appearance, cobbled together from myths and legends. Wolves, covered in thick fur, survived the rapidly changing climate, and moose, corroded by the cold, became stone statues forever imprinted in the ice. Soon, the billions of voices of nature fell silent. Birdsong and babbling rivers gave way to a crystal silence where even the whisper of the wind froze into an icy symphony. Living life forms became rare and highly adapted to the cold, leaving only traces of what was once diversity. The great steppes, once a motley carpet of colorful grass, became flat white wastelands. Fields once covered with bread and fruit became frozen blueprints unable to support life. The painting that once inspired mankind was now only a monument to a bygone beauty. Humanity's means of survival became increasingly desperate. The first months of permafrost were still tolerable, but with each passing year, cultures, societies, and nations disintegrated under the cold. Industry died out because machines refused to work in the freezing temperatures. Power disappeared, and with it light. Cities that once pulsated with life became ghosts of their past. People subjected to the merciless climate sought shelter. The warmer zones were the ones who wielded power, and the struggle for remaining resources led to wars and clashes. Exhausted by cold and hunger, humans threw themselves into a last desperate search for warmth. The last days of humanity were hours of senseless resistance to the cold. Life became a chaotic race for a piece of warmth and food. The humans who survived became frozen ghosts, roaming the icy lands in search of one last shelter. Those who still could sought underground shelters, trying to escape the incredible cold. But even there, resources quickly ran out, and the shadows of humanity dissolved into the vast darkness. And so, planet Earth had become an impenetrable ice prison, with no room for living beings or life in general. The stars that usually sparkled in the heavens now looked down on the merciless void. Permafrost had come to symbolize the end of all life on Earth. The heart of the planet froze with eternal ice, and history, as if it had never existed, became an artifact of ruthless nature. Lady Seal encased even the very idea of life in her embrace, and the Earth became a desolate, cold grave wrapped in eternity. The end of our history is the end of life, which has enveloped the Earth in an eternal frost. The planet, once full of diversity and energy, has become an icy pantheon of bygone times. In this cold epitaph of our world, only the shadow of a once vibrant and seething sphere remained. The saving rays of the sun could not penetrate through the icy clouds, and the Earth remained buried in darkness. Only vast fields of ice, dark and lifeless, spread out like a slab of permafrost, warding off the last remnants of life. Those who witnessed this waning are gone, leaving the planet lonely and forgotten in time. The stars, eternal witnesses of change, continued their dance symphony in space, and the Earth, as if part of this vast cosmic ballet, rested in its icy prison. Only emptiness and silence witnessed the last breaths of life. A freezing wind, carrying the odor of cold and departure, spread the dust of frozen dreams. The oceans, once full of life, became impenetrable ice, and the snow, like a white veil, buried the remnants of what once was. Mankind, who once owned this great arc of life, was now a shadow in the past. All its aspirations, creations, and dreams had vanished beneath the ice as if they had never existed. There were no sounds, no colors, no movement left in this lifeless expanse. The Earth, once great in its beauty, became an arena of destruction, buried in an icy embrace. Nothing could survive in this freezing world, where even the very essence of existence faded into cold darkness. And so ended the symphony of the Earth. Its notes froze in the permafrost, and in this freezing silence, there was no room for the melody of life to continue. The strings, once tense with vital energy, became brittle and cold, like severed threads of time. Permafrost enveloped everything, and the Earth became but a distant shadow of what it had been. In this cold, chilling nothingness, there was no beauty, no variety, no life. All that remained was emptiness, a vast darkness in which everything froze.